I'm Catherine Steffens, Director of Global Partnerships and Initiatives for Jesuit Schools Network. In this webinar, we are addressing Global Identifier number 8, which is titled Jesuit Schools are Committed to Being a Global Network at the Service of the Mission. This identifier lists 15 supporting points to what that means. We'll take a look at some of them, but first, can we start by simply confirming that we are a global network? We are a global network of schools. We are a global network of people. This is established and confirmed, and I would like to use it as our starting point. We can then move over to the how. How do we act as a universal body with a universal mission? When you have Pope Francis dedicating intentional extended time to meet with and speak to the global leaders of our worldwide school networks, asking us to work in collaboration to put the human person at the center, I personally don't need any more convincing that this is a call I feel personally compelled to respond to. So first, let's meet our global leaders or guides. Father General Arturo Sosa has 4 secretariats: Social Justice and Ecology, Service of Faith, Higher Education, and Education. While our work collaborates and integrates with all 4, Father Jose Alberto Mesa is our leader as the Education Secretary. Serving as an advisory commission to Father Jose, we have ICAJE, the International Commission on the Apostolate of Jesuit Education. They are our regional leaders. You will know some of them for sure. Father Bob Reiser, the Executive Director for JSN North America. Father Roberto Padilla of FLACSI. Father Joe Arimoso, JASBEAM, which is Africa, Madagascar. Father John Rave for South Asia, JASA. Father Leonardus Winandoko, who goes by Coco, Father Coco, of JCAP Education, and Agnieszka Baran of JECSE Europe. I will add that we are grateful for Agnieszka's voice as a strong global leader for all the schools and as a woman on ICAJE. A quick look at the numbers. Here's a closer look. Please note that all of these resources can be found on the Jesuits Global website and Educate Magis. Each of the global regions have provincials, delegates for education, who work directly with the schools. Here are the JSN delegates, whom we call PACE. 5 provincial assistants and 4 of our 5 provinces also have an associate provincial assistant. So what has JSN's path for living out this mission of being a global network looked like? How do we enter into that space, that global space, with context, purpose, and courage? I see 3 essential pieces to our journey. It starts first with each of us as individuals, first ourselves, with our own school culture. Who we are is how we form our students. Formation is first, and opening spaces of dialogue. Global Identifier number 8 states that formation and an understanding of our own role is essential, that faculty and staff be formed so they can then better accompany students in their formation. Secondly, it requires being intentional and proactive in forming and maintaining relationships locally within your school and beyond, outside the doors of your school, opening spaces of encounter. Global Identifier number 8 declares with urgency that we are to network with each other, that in isolation we will not meet the complexities of today's globalized world. Third, it depends on the formation and integration of programs that support and animate our growth within the global network. The programs open spaces of dialogue, spaces of encounter, and spaces of collaboration. We collaborate in the formation of programs that are Ignatian, programs that are practical, programs that are tangible. These programs are the tools that transform us, the tools that transform our colleagues and our students. For JSN, our global programming originates from the Ignatian definition of a global citizen created in 2019 by a global task force. This task force itself and their work is a manifestation of a commitment to being a global network at the service of the mission. If you're not familiar with the definition, we see it as an essential framework, a starting point for global programming. It widens the global lens to go beyond service trips, beyond exchanges. The definition defines global citizenship as a lens to living out our mission. The core documents further our formation. The twist is that we view and review everything with new eyes through the lens of global eyes and global heart. As also indicated in Global Identifier number 8, Educate Magis is our go-to place for formation and spaces for dialogue. For JSN, the global road has been slow and steady. There were early collaborations and encounters, mostly with Flaxy. However, the practice of working as a global network did not take off quickly. In the very beginning, we were quite uncertain and unclear of not only what did it mean, but why. Why should we add on this other layer to what we're doing in our schools when we are already so very successful and busy, sometimes so busy we were just surviving the day-to-day? Why do we need to incorporate global connections, global actions, global layering, and learning in our classes? That was really our first big hurdle. What does it mean and what does it look like? In 2019, JSN gathered our first working group, and Donna Andrade made official our mantra that global is mission. From there, we began the dialogue of what that mission looks like in a tangible manner. Formation of ourselves, our colleagues, and programming. For this to work, JSN needed to begin at home, locally. The first steps needed to take place within our context, within our culture, within our schools. It needed to emerge from the mission as JSN saw the mission. We first had to inform and convince ourselves why and how to work as a global network. Our small working group grew quickly, and in 2020, the global innovators, I will call them, gathered again, this time with participation from Flaxy, our Latin American partners, and also Ignatian Solidarity Network. The ideas and first outlines of our current programming emerged from that gathering. In 2022, the global innovators grew larger, and the work that had begun in 2020 was fine-tuned and put into final draft format. I want to make a very important statement here. All of our current programming emerged from a collaborative effort of educators who were actively teaching, actively engaging with students and experimenting and trying things out across the network. They brought their experiences, their successes, and failures also to the table. We worked collectively and collaboratively with the common mission in mind. The programs we have are successful because of them, because of their work. In 2024, this is who turned out for our Global Perspective Leaders Gathering in Cincinnati. These are the superstars of showing how Jesuit schools are committed to being a global network at the service of the mission. We had people from across the global network also attending: Father Mesa, Kira from Educate Magis, Father Adolfo from Flaxy, and other JSN partners in mission were also present at the gathering. Nothing happens here in isolation. We create spaces of dialogue, of encounter, and of collaboration. JSN has 3 major global programs and a portfolio of others that include curricular inserts, frameworks, partnerships, a middle school initiative, and our very important Right to Education initiative. I will speak to the 3 most widely known programs. JSN's Global Dimensions Inventory examines in what ways does your school prioritize and model the Ignatian definition of global citizenship. It also identifies and celebrates, the celebration is very important, what is already present. We issue reports for each school and a network-wide report. They are informational for collaboration. They are not assessments. Our iGEM mentor program pairs mentors from schools with more global experience with mentees in schools who are deepening their exploration into growing the global dimensions of their school. It's a 2-year mentorship cycle with a structured process and a scripted conversations. The last cycle of iGEM partnered with Flaxy, and this cycle we are partnering with JECSE of Europe. JSN is walking as a global network with purpose and structure. Ignatian Global Scholars, now in almost 50% of our schools, of our high schools, award students who fulfill requisites that include ongoing Ignatian reflection with a JSN certificate. We also have a JSN Global Facilitators group that meets regularly with monthly check-ins, webinars, and colleague-to-colleague shares. We have members from JSN and outside of JSN who join us. If you would like to join us, please let me know. I feel that one of the biggest shifts for JSN's commitment to being a global network at the service of the mission was the Jesudu Jogja 2024 seminar this summer. The vision statement alone speaks to how JSN's journey within the global network unfolded. For many of the JSN participants, this was a new, unique, challenging at times experience. And with their participation and subsequent engagement into the global network of people, our mission as a global network has become more mainstreamed throughout JSN. We step together into these spaces of dialogue, of encounter, of formation and accompaniment, and in doing so, we felt transformed and ready to return to our home schools to bring that message of transformation to our own colleagues and students and to our own work. Here is a quick photo of my spiritual conversation group at Yogyakarta. I make note of it because we had 9 countries and 4 networks represented. It was truly a joyful and transformative experience of Jesuit schools committed to being a global network at the service of the mission. Please contact me for further information on any part of this talk. I thank you all for your time and engagement in our amazing and wonderful Jesuit Global Network of Schools.